All right. All right. All right. We're going to do this. We're going to get this party started, as us young kids say. First, I'm going to put up my new thumbnail, which I'm a fan of. Save that. And then we're going to get some words in today. Hopefully. That is the goal, right? There we go. There we go. Changes saved. Already got a live viewer. Thank you. Welcome in. Welcome. I'm going to start on this one. Okay. Get some words in. The person I had hanging out, already gone. You're like, no thanks. No thanks at all. I need to get a little bit of reading in as well. Okay. Just getting some reading in real quick. I'm trying to read this chapter so I can write the next chapter. All right. I should have read this chapter before I came on. I totally forgot. I am here to chat today. I am here to answer any and all questions. I'm here to get some writing in. All right. Now, pull my notes. It's been a long time since I wrote on this. Come on. Okay. Getting the words down, the words in and down. I'm excited. Getting some of this done. Trying to get ahead. It's very hard at this point to get ahead. I'm not behind in my writing, but I'm not ahead either. That's not good. Just gonna keep pushing forward. Again, maybe wants to pop into the stream while this is live. I would love to have a conversation with you. Probably seems really boring to just watch me sit here typing for long, silent stretches. Do I have a message now? Who is this? No. Spam garbage. Garbage spam, I call it. I'm going to charge my phone and also going to charge my watch while I'm thinking of it. Because a lot of times I don't think about it. And then I'm sitting here at night, sitting on the couch, watching the television. And I'm like, oh, my phone's dying. Okay. Keep it going. My knee itches. What the hell is that? You know? There's Mr. Frank. Finally, somebody to talk to. Armand Rosamilia, as I live and breathe, Mr. Frank says, you are living and you are probably breathing. Ms. Frank says, I don't know. I've heard people say that. People say that to me all the time. Constantly. I get sick. I'm going to be honest. I get sick of it. So many people say it. New Exodus song out? I'll just listen to old Exodus. Oh, I had no idea. I haven't really listened to music in a while. My wife is home a lot, and then she's not home. It's like big, long stretches. Normally, what I'll do in the morning is she leaves about 8:30, and then I will immediately hit Spotify and start doing emails and writing and my out of the park baseball game. But she's been home the last couple. She was off on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, she didn't leave here until almost 11 o'clock. So it's been throwing me. Sunday, I hung out with you guys, but I didn't do much of anything else. Are you going to be hanging out with me and Pete on Sunday morning? Amanda Ward will be hanging out with us. She will be here. She'll actually be coming here to get some writing in on Sunday, and then she and I will get some lunch. Bunch of new music coming out, yeah? I'm going to have to check that out. My Spotify will have a bunch of songs in the new releases thing, right? I don't listen to everything. I just kind of cherry pick through. But it'll be like Exodus / Bonzi B, some weird. And then I put it on and it's just some rap song. And then I'm like, what? This has nothing to do with, why is Exodus tagged in this thing? They haven't taken, it's not like they stole any of the drum parts or anything. It's just weird. But then I've listened to a part of it, and so then it keeps giving me suggestions for weird stuff like that. I'd say so, since they're predicting 87 feet of snow for Sunday. So you'll be hanging out with us while it's raining. It's usually what happens. Have they dropped any more of the Megadeth album yet? Not that I'm impressed with the first two songs, but still. I want to hear their Ride the Lightning version. Oh, yeah, because it's amateur music. They upload without caring if they are using band names. Yeah. It's annoying. Then I get all kinds of weird crap that they keep sending my way. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to listen to Bowling for Soup for the next 3 hours. Not worry about it. Not sure on Megadeth. I saw a promo for the Megadeth doc. Oh, they have a doc coming out? Documentary? Us cool kids say doc. What's up, documentary? There was another documentary that's supposed to come out, a band, and I forget what it is, and I meant to write it down last week, and then I totally forgot to bring it up. Completely forgot. Mr. Frank says, if I wanted to listen to Bowling for Soup for 3 hours, I just listen to Bowling for Soup for 15 minutes. That dude is in my FYP all the time. All right. What's FYP stand for? I don't know what that means. Fit your pockets. Free your principles. Free your people. Fire a youth person. I like Bowling for Soup. 4-year page TikTok. Oh, I get it. I'm only literally on TikTok for I sit outside for a minute and 15 seconds, record my video. It uploads. I share it to Facebook from there. On TikTok, I go through and see who liked stuff, who made a comment, who tagged me in stuff. I see who has befriended me. I make sure the video is live, and I see that I have less than 100 views on every video now. And then I jump immediately off there, and then I post it up to the YouTube. I just don't know what's going on, you know? No clue. Clueless, I might even add. Where am I? I'm over here. The night before last, my wife and I went to Cracker Barrel for dinner. I've been to Cracker Barrel in quite some time. It's like, you know what? She's like, what are you in the mood for? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm always in the mood for Chinese food or pizza. She's like, I don't want Chinese food or pizza. So, well, then you pick. She's like, I'm in the mood for breakfast. And I was like, IHOP? Because I can get an omelet and I get pancakes with my omelet. She's like, no, I don't like IHOP, and it's all the way across town. She's like, how about Cracker Barrel? And I'm like, you know what? Let's do that. She said, you know what you're ordering? I said, yeah, what you order with it, with one change. She's like, what? I said, you'll see when you order. She's like, pancakes with pecans, scrambled eggs, throw some bacon, throw some hash browns, biscuits. And I said, I will have the same exact thing, no pecans. Same when we go to Waffle House. She orders the pecan pancakes, or the pecan waffles. Excuse me, it's not Pancake House, it's Waffle House. Pecan waffles, scrambled eggs, toast, and bacon. I want the same thing, no pecans. Simple as that. And it's not like I hate pecans. I like pecans. The problem was then she bought a couple things because you always got to wander around Cracker Barrel, you know. So she buys a couple things, and then I'm like, "Well, I'm getting a chunky bar. I always get a chunky bar." She's like, "Fine." We get the chunky bar, and then last night I was like, when she got home from her mom's, I was like, "Hey, what happened to that chunky bar?" And she's like, "Oh, it's still in the bag." I'm like, "Well, where's the bag?" I'm looking around. She's like, "Oh, I left it in the car." I'm like, "Oh, she's like, want me to go get it?" I said, "No." She's like, "You're not going to go get it?" I said, "It's 28 degrees out right now." No, it'll be nice and cold though. That was the night that we got it. We left the bag. So then last night, when she's coming home from her mom's, that's what happened. Tuesday night is garbage night. Put the garbage out. So I was like, I'll put the garbage out. But then I forgot to grab the keys to the truck. So she called on her way home, and I was like, listen, I opened the truck. I'm not going back out there. Can you grab that bag when you come in? She did, and I ate only half of the chunky bar, two of the four squares. True story. I have the other two. I have the other two squares right here, which I intend to eat today for lunch. I had a turkey, ham, and Swiss cheese sandwich for lunch today. And tonight we're going to do nachos. Nachos. Meat and cheese and refried beans and Mexican corn and Spanish rice. All thrown in together. So you want me to stop and get you like, I don't know, tomato or lettuce or anything? I'm like, no, because then I eat some of it and then the rest of it goes bad the rest of the week. I don't need any of that. We got salsa. I got Taco Bell packets. I'm good. We got a lot of cheese. Nope. So I've kind of timed out my the StreamYard thing. I have like a little under 3 hours to use before Friday. So I'll probably do like an hour and a half today, and then I probably will do like an hour or so tomorrow. Though I just put out up a new video, and I have a couple of other videos I would like to record. But Nixon in the house. Here's my problem with Curse of Oak Island. Listen, I haven't watched. I didn't watch last night's episode. Although I'm going to be honest with you, I'm sure I didn't miss much. Nick says I can't remember what I watched last night. Did you watch Curse of Oak Island? Let's delete that. What'd you watch, Nick? What's your problem with Curse of Oak Island? I believe it's a perfect show. If you added up all the stuff that they found, it'd be worth about $3. I watched some sexy book reviewer review Dirtbags. I hope you watched it all the way to the end, Mr. Frank. I need the minutes and the hours. And I had another 12 minutes to watch some. I appreciate that. I am at 1,353 hours. So it's slowly getting there. I added 13 more hours yesterday. 13 more hours, 12 more minutes. So I also have a video I'll be doing an unboxing today of my latest release. But that won't use StreamYard. But then I got to do I'm doing a movie review of The Rip with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. That will be up probably tomorrow. You're boxing today. Oh yeah. Actually, I'm eating a piece of chunky right now. Oh good. Nick says I saw about half of The Rip. Did you see the beginning part or the end part? Or just some random scenes in the middle? Spoiler alert, I liked it. Ms. Frank says I watched a guy eat rabbit heads in China also. Yeah, don't watch those videos. Don't give those guys your minutes. Nick says turned it off for Oak Island where they did nothing. Yeah, I don't know. You should have kept watching the movie. The movie was real. It was more realistic than Oak Island. Frank says, I don't think this guy needs my watch minutes. When you eat rabbit heads on YouTube, that tends to attract a lot of natural attention. That is true, too. I thought it would help. Ms. Frank says, so moving forward, eat rabbit heads while doing your review. Be like, so let's talk about the rip. Speaking of rips, I'm going to rip this rabbit's head off and eat it. My wife doesn't like chunky bars. Nope. I'll jump to the next page. Nope. Ah. I don't have any backup water. That's not good. Yeah, I'll probably do like an hour. I'll do an hour. I'll do a little bit past 1 o'clock, and if anybody new jumps in, I'll stay. Otherwise, the problem is today my wife had didn't leave till 11. She had to take her aunt to the doctor, then drop her aunt off at home. Then, if she had time, come back here because the dog is here. So change the dog's diaper, and then go to her own doctor's appointment for her blood transfusion thing, and then come home for dinner. Now, if her aunt's doctor runs late, then she's just going to go get hers done, which I think is 2 o'clock. Then she'll be home. So I don't want to. Yeah, it is very confusing. So I'm like, can I take a nap or I can't take a nap? Because you never want her out doing stuff all day, and then she comes home, and then I'm fast asleep. You know, I'm supposed to be working. I'm supposed to be making us some money here. Although sometimes I think I make more money if I'm napping. Blah blah blah. Frank says, what has two thumbs and is number 3? This dude. Nice. I can be king now. Don't tell no one I'm here, Frank says. Nick says, so Monster Quest is back. Yes, I've been watching. I think the 3rd episode drops this week, or dropped yesterday or tonight. More cryptid cheese that I love watching. Is that like 10 years between seasons? I think there was a significant break. Let's look that up. Because I was like, why is it aired from October 31st, 2007 to March 24th, 2010 on the History Channel. A spin-off show, Mystery Quest, premiered in 2009. And they were canceled in 2010, midway through the 4th season. That's season 2, that's season 3, season 4. Season 5. $15 years. 15 years. January 2nd, it premiered. Ugh. No idea why they brought it back. I'm glad they brought it back. Nick says, is that like 10 years between seasons? Yeah, the other 3 were bang, 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 and then 15 years later, let's start this one again. Because you know why? We have 400 other shows just like it. And why not? Let's just bring this back. Frank says, like Mel Gibson once said, it's good to be king. Yes, Mel Gibson said that. He also said a lot of racial things in between those words. Frank said, who is back on? Monster Quest. Nick asked, did they find all the monsters in 2010? Yeah, and then it restocked. Like in a game, they respawned monsters for 15 years. Nick says, it took 15 years to find more. Apparently, nobody's been questing for monsters for 15 years. That's why there's so many of them again. As Frank said, maybe it should have stayed where it was. Whoa. This Frank says, Mel Stottlemyre. You know what? Mel Stottlemyre probably did say that. Nick Zinn said, wasn't that Debbie Gibson? Debbie Gibson, at one point, yeah, did say it's good to be king. I remember that on one of her Hanukkah specials. Ms. Frank said, it's always, capital always, Debbie Gibson. Frank says, inventor of the Gibson guitar. Yeah, because when I think of Debbie Gibson, I automatically think of guitar. I gotta watch more of that science guitar thing. I'm guessing they have some new episodes. I watched some dude yesterday. Last night there's like nothing on. I was like, my wife's going to be on her way home soon. I don't want to start watching Oak Island. She's always annoyed when she comes in. It's on. So I'm watching videos, and I got on one of the dude who just playing guitar solos for like 80s stuff. And I just watched that for like an hour. Ms. Frank said tons of new ones, all ridiculous. I'm sure they are. Yeah, sure, I'll watch all of them. Nick Nixon says Eddie Van Halen, Vinnie Vincent, Debbie Gibson, greatest shredders. Yep. The guy I watched for like an hour last night basically played like every Eddie Van Halen guitar solo in different videos. Nick knows, Mr. Frank says. I guess they changed they updated the laws on stuff in California, and now Tommy Lee is going to be going to court again for doing that crap with that woman in the helicopter 20 years ago. Oh, Bo knows. Helicopter. Where am I on this thing? No, not really far at all. Here's my problem. I don't really even feel like writing. We need to have some discussions here. We need to have some talking because I'll write a line here and there, but I'm not feeling it again today for like the 50th day in a row. Probably because my sales are so crappy. People stop reading or something. People are dumb. Dumb. My estimated royalties for today on Amazon, $2.92. All page reads. Lousy 618 page reads. What's going on in this world? Maybe if you had on an oyster shirt. I had the oyster shirt on yesterday. Or the day before yesterday. I had my oyster shirt on. So I'm going to tell a little story, free story. You don't have to pay for it. I'm wearing my Pappy Van Winkle shirt. And actually, I have two of these. I don't know why I have two. I don't remember what are in two, but it's the same shirt. So I don't know if you've noticed, I've been on this guy's podcast three times lately. Frank says mine is 0 since December 7th. That's not good, Frank, at all. And so I've been on his podcast about AI robots or something. I don't know, whatever. Like I came on as a guest. And he had another two guys on. And I thought, okay, the three of them do this podcast together. Then he invited me back as, oh, will you be a guest for the next one? And that was the AI one. And those other two guys were on again. And so now there's like 4 of us on. But he just keeps inviting. He's like, now it's like he just keeps sending email after email. Like, okay, our next guest will be a paranormal ghost hunter woman. And here's the date and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I love that guy. I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm kind of getting annoyed. Like, why? It feels like we all just got basically just, I don't want to say suckered in, but we all just kind of got pulled in. And I don't understand it. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. The guy likes my books. He talks about my books. He's reading the stuff from me and Tom. What else do I have to do on a Thursday night? My wife's not even here. She's at her mom's. So he's like, oh, I definitely want you on because I got a guy from a liquor store, basically, I'm going to bring on to talk about the new releases for bourbon and rum and stuff. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll be on. That's fine. I'm like, I just can't. I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want to be on somebody's podcast. I don't want to be a guest host. Trevor Alex, 2138. Happy Wednesday to you as well. No, Mr. Frank, not 4 beards. And so and I'm like, fine. And like, you know what? We're gonna talk to a guy. I'll set up my phone on my stand in the dining room, and then I'll have my liquor cabinet behind me. I will have this shirt. I took a shower. Let's catfish the guy. I don't hate the guy. It's just annoying. So you know me, it's like, okay, it's 7 o'clock. I got to do this. So that means that like by like 4 o'clock, my mind is, I only got 3 hours. I only got 2 hours. I only got 1 hour. So I'm shot. Nick says, end of the story. He's coming to MondoCon taking my air mattress. Exactly. Why'd you ruin the story? So this is what annoyed me. Okay. What are you doing, guy? What's annoying me right now is this guy is out here. He's got this giant fucking dog, and it's never on a leash, which is the law. I think that's the guy they were complaining about on Nextdoor app, because the dog just craps on everything. Anyway, so I'm ready. It's like 5 minutes to 7. He uses StreamYard. I got my phone. I figure out how to get my phone. I got the light. It's all set up. Boom. Turn it on. I go into the backstage area. The other 2 guys are already up. He's already up. The guest, the liquor store guy, is already up. So I sit for 10 minutes. Doesn't invite me in. What the hell? So I drop off, run into here. I go and I look. There's no email, nothing, and I just email him and I say, hey, I've been in backstage area for 10 minutes. Add me to the show. I go back in. I hit the link again. I'm back on. I can hear them. First time I couldn't hear anybody talking. This time I hear them talking, but I'm still backstage. And he's setting everything. He's setting up. And then he's like, all right, well, here's our opening music. I'm going to play that. He plays the music, and I'm like waving, and I'm like, I'm here. All you got to do is look down on StreamYard. All you got to do is look down. You can see who's backstage. But then he was like, oh, I guess Armand isn't going to be joining us. I was really hoping he would be in. And I was just like so pissed at that moment, like ridiculously pissed. You know how I get, like, I'm like, it really, like, nobody kicked me. And so I get out of there. He starts to show, and I'm annoyed because I'm like, you invited me to a show I really don't want to do, and now you didn't even let me into the damn show. And it probably would have been the show that I would have liked to have done. So then I get up, and I'm just annoyed, and then I'm like, I'm just gonna watch some dude playing Eddie Van Halen guitar solos for the next hour or so. Yeah, he's dead to me. So then I emailed them. I messaged him back and I said, well, I hung out for another 10 minutes and you didn't add me to the show. So, oh, well, whatever I said. And then like 3 hours later, he emails me back. He's like, oh, I think I fucked up. No kidding. He's like, oh, and the other guys were really boring too. It would have been really great to have you on. And I'm thinking, you could have had me on. All you had to do is literally look down on your monitor. You would have seen me there. So my wife's like, well, that'll give you a reason the next time he asks, just don't do it. And I said, oh yeah, that's the next time he asks, I'm just going to ignore it. Because now you bother me. Now you wasted my time, my precious time. You know how many more Eddie Van Halen guitar solo videos I could have watched? A dozen. Really, really just annoying. Nick says, now if the topic was bands with liquor labels, Armand would be the best guest. I would have been. You know what? I would have been a great guest for this guy. I even had my bottle of Pappy. I brought it out there so I can show that off. We were going to have my Pappy shirt. We were going to talk alcohol. That would have been a good show. And then for him to go, yeah, the other two guys weren't really into it. They were kind of boring. I'm like, well, you could have had the greatest guest in the entire world. Second greatest guest. Debbie Gibson probably would be the greatest guest. So, but you know what? Now I'm like, good. Now I don't have to feel bad about never doing his show again. And Joe, if you're watching this, that's on you. And I know I get overly dramatic on everything. I get it. Completely get it. Mr. Frank, did you see Bret Michaels subtly tell the rest of Poison he makes way more money without them? Yeah, pretty much. I want 600% what the rest of you guys are getting, or I'm out. And they're like, no, we're not doing it. And he's like, all right, I'll just keep going and making money as BRB, BMB, Bret Michaels Band. I think didn't Ricky Rocket immediately say he's going to do the first Poison album? He's going to go on tour and play the first Poison album in its entirety. And I'm like, oh, that sounds great. A tribute band with the drums, the second least most important part of that whole freaking sound. Miss Frank says, yeah. Yeah, Brett's still out there making money. I'm sure the rest of them are not. Mr. Frank says Ricky Rocket invasion. Yeah, I think it's and I think Cece has Cece DeVille Comet. I think is the name of his band. And I don't know what Unskinny Bob is doing these days. Probably just getting fatter. Bobby Doll wanted to get paid because he's like, listen, I eat a lot of food now. Nick says he get paid in do rags. Yeah, that's why he needs the 600%. Head scarves. What do they call them? Drug helmets. He needs more drug helmets. And spam risk. Nick says maybe you did a review, but what's that Aussie book people are talking about? Last rites. I did not do a review or read it, and it's basically just yet another nonfiction Aussie book. There's about 10,000 of them right now. I'm not interested in reading it, to be honest with you. I've read several Aussie books. Trevor Alex says, since social media has changed the way we consume content, do you find you have had to change how you write your stories, or has it remained relatively the same? I think it's remained relatively the same for me. I think I've gotten better with more experience of writing 30 something years, but I don't ever look at it and go, "Oh, I got to write like what would the kids like? What oh, I got to write shorter things because that's I just write a story. I really don't want to do all that because then you're going to go, well, if I'm going to do all that, I might as well look for what stories are selling, what genres can make me the most money, and I'm just chasing the money and I'm not being true to myself. Like the band Twisted Sister said, be cruel to your school. Trevor says Matt Damon was on Joe Rogan's podcast recently and spoke about how Netflix has had to adapt the way that they do their movies due to shorter attention spans. Yeah, I saw that. And you know what? I mean, I guess that's the way people are consuming shows and movies now. So I don't know. I don't get too too worried about all that stuff because things change, things come and go. There's things you're allowed to do today that you're not going to be allowed to do tomorrow, and it's just always somebody higher up the chain thinks they have the answer, and then they try that, and then when it doesn't work, we move on to something else. Nick Zan says, weather update still cold here. Still freezing here, 62 degrees right now. And a slight breeze. I think that's the high for the day, though, 62 here. It was like 38 this morning when I went out and did my coffee video. I see Matt Damon and Ben Affleck on about 400 interviews so far for this movie, The Rip, which I will have a movie review up in the next day or so on it, since I watched it. I just got an email, and the subject, the thing is a quick question. And hello, did you have any publish or any upcoming, any books? Is the first line to that. I'm going to guess English is not your first language, and you did not use AI to write that. You probably should have used AI to write that. I also got a recipe for tuna, heated rivalry tuna melt with Calabrian chilies. No, I don't want that. I just want tuna. Just want tuna. So I'm putting stuff in everything. Just leave the stuff out of everything. Like stuffless. Or non-stuff. I do get a lot of emails from like all recipes, all these different places. A lot of air fryer recipes. Like this easy chicken noodle casserole. Pizza chicken. I think the dog is up moving around. She does this thing where she shakes her head, she flaps her ears, and it's very loud. But she does that in the middle of like 3 o'clock in the morning. She's lying in bed with us, and then she gets up and flaps her ears. I'm like, stop doing that. You keep waking me up. I got a bunch of 5 more stories for the Crystal Lake submissions. You have till the end of the month. You have about 10 days left to get your story with the theme, your horror story with the theme river in it. So I think I've gotten 20 something now. So if you're getting those stories done, get them done. John Heston says hello. And I say hello back, John. Hello back. Getting some writing in today, but also doing a lot of talking. I really can't shut up. I like my mother. Wow. Don't do that. I like when my wife makes tuna casserole. I love tuna casserole. The problem with tuna casserole is she'll make a big one and I eat the whole thing. I'm not even hungry at that point, but I'm like, I can't. I got to eat this. I wish I had a bottle of water. I need to drink more water. I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning with a friggin' Charlie horse and a half. Jumped out of bed and started jumping up and down on it. Woke me right up from a crazy dream. I don't even know what I was dreaming. I just used a line from the band Junkyard. Basically, the line from Junkyard is, "I wouldn't take anything from you I couldn't return twice." John says, "I need to be writing too. Not until later tonight. I can think in peace." Got to find your your moments. Trevor says, "Have dreams ever inspired what you have written about?" One, ooh, there's the Chinese lady walking. She's wearing yoga pants today. Yes, there's a story I wrote. I think it's in my first or second book collection called "Stairs to the Ocean." And going back 20 years almost, I think I wrote that story. There was a guy I was a department manager for J.C. Penney, and the visual manager was Ray Brewer. And we got along. I liked him. And I had a dream one night that Ray and his wife, I didn't know his wife in real life, him and his wife lived on in a new house on a cliff overlooking the ocean. And in the dream, and I'm like watching this, I'm not part of the people in the dream. In it, he starts building this path towards the ocean with bricks and cement and all this. And his wife's like, "What are you doing?" He builds it all the way to the end of the cliff, and then he builds a stairs to the ocean, hence the name. And he's acting all kinds of weird, and then he has his in-laws over on a very stormy night, and then something comes from the ocean. I won't ruin the rest of it, but literally it was like a fully formed story in my head out of nowhere. And I got up the next morning and I wrote all the beats down for it. And then over the next few days, but the dream didn't leave me. And so I ended up writing it out. And then I said to Ray, "Hey, can I use your name in this thing?" He's like, "Sure." And I said, "The woman," I let him read it. And he's like, "What's funny is the girl I dated before I married my wife, that was whatever the name is in the thing." Nick says, "Had a call to take. Looks like you're still going strong. Super strong, Nick. Stronger than steel." Trevor says, "That's awesome. Sounds interesting." Yeah, it was fun, but that was really the only time I've ever had a dream where I got up the next day and wrote it out. Normally, I have crap ton of dreams and they're all crazy, and then I don't remember any of it the next day, or vague parts that make no sense. It's like who knows what's going on? Who knows what is happening? No, I'm almost to the second page on this one. So what did I say? My numbers keep going up and down. I had 9 people on. Next page, Nick's in. Next page. Yeah, I hit the next page. I'm about to hit another one. John says, "What are you reading currently?" I haven't grabbed them, but I just finished this. I just finished Dirtbags from Eric Pruitt. Is very, very dark. I did a book review on it. Watch the video if you don't mind, and you'll see if maybe you'll like it. I'm probably going to end up reading. I think it's called Roughneck by Jim Thompson. I read Bad Boy, which was his coming of age, him as a kid, supposed nonfiction, but a lot of BS in it. And now this is him in his 20s, like the follow up to that. I probably will start that. I picked 5 books. There's a video of my 5 books for January. I will probably get 3 of them read. It's been a weird month. And then I'll probably pick for February. I'll do a video for 3 books for February. Shorter month and all that. I don't think the 2 books I don't finish, I'm just going to put them back in the pile, and then I'm going to pick 3 brand new books from my TBR piles. John said, I just started House of Leaves. Homework. Nick asked, any nonfiction in that pile? Yeah, the first book I reviewed this month was The Secret History of Bigfoot. That book. And then this Jim Thompson is also nonfiction. I'm always going to throw in one or two nonfiction books every month because I enjoy nonfiction books. I reviewed that also. They did a book review on that as well. I'm going to need everybody to watch like 2,000 hours worth of my videos in the next 24 hours, if that's even possible. Nick says, I got in around 15 this past weekend for you. I appreciate that, Nick. I honestly do. I appreciate that. Keep it going. Trevor Alex says, do you lean more into plot or character development based on the genre you write in? For me, it's always about the character. I read this little quote somewhere, and I've used it many times. And basically, you can have. Sorry, I gotta plug my. You can have a decent plot, but great characters, and it's going to be a great book. You can have a great plot, but only decent characters, and it's only going to be a decent book. Especially in crime thrillers, which is what I write. So for basically, I look and I go, you know what? I need to worry about the characters. I need to worry about creating interesting characters. The reader will follow that. Nick says, maybe another 8 by tomorrow. That would be awesome, Nick. Please keep watching my videos. Please. Trying to get monetized here. Ms. Frank says, sorry, I had to work again. This is getting out of hand. One more time they tell you to do something, Frank, I would quit that job. I would freak out and walk out of that place. It ain't worth it. Yeah, so character development is everything. There are certain authors I read, and I will always say, I don't care if you put these two characters, you put them in a room together across from each other in chairs, and you write 30,000 words of them having a conversation. I would be interested in reading that because the characters are so good. But if you're going to have decent characters I don't really care about, and they're running around car chases and shooting things and fighting things, whatever, I'm like, I'm not interested. Ms. Frank says, finished my Crystal Lake story this morning. Absolutely hate it. I'll submit it by Friday. Yeah, definitely send it in because we got a bunch of stories. But again, looking forward to reading it. You got to go through the proper channels and send it to Crystal Lake Publishing. John asks, I'm sorry if you answered this already. Who are your favorite crime thriller writers? I answered this right. No, I'm just kidding. Right now, Eric Pruitt. Eric with a Y. Very good. Jordan Harper is amazing. His new book, which is coming out in April, I got an advance on it, and it's wonderful. S.A. Cosby is great. I am a very big into Southern Gothic noir thrillers, so Brian Panawick is very good. I mean, the classics, Raymond Chandler and Elmore Leonard. Those are the people I started reading. Ron Rash is wonderful. So I do a video on here. I keep pointing at my videos. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I do my top 10 books of 2025. There's actually 11 on there. And 5 or 6 of those are crime thriller books that I've read in the past year. So check that video out. Watch the whole thing. Watch it 3 times. And that'll tell you some of the ones that I've read in the past year that I'm a huge, huge fan of. Started reading Jim Thompson after watching The Lowdown with Ethan Hawke, that show. Trevor says, now because you write crime thrillers, your characters are already grown, I assume, and therefore have gone through development before the story starts. Do you give them a flaw they have to work through? So first off, I am a complete pantser. I basically kind of give a preconception of the character in my head. I try to come up with 3 things about the character, whether physical or mental or their backstory, that would hopefully make them unique as characters. And so you kind of run with I kind of run with that. I try to stay away from crime thrillers. I try to stay away from, like, if I'm writing a private investigator, I try to stay away from they're an alcoholic, as much as possible, because that's a big, big, big trope cliche that I don't think we need that one anymore. But yeah, I kind of have the character kind of in my head, but it just really just whatever the story dictates, wherever I'm going with it. Mr. Frank says, it looks like they get vetted before you see them. What gets vetted? I don't even know what we were even talking about, Frank. I'm sorry. Oh, it looks like they get vetted before you see. Oh, the stories? Yeah, but he's sending me every story. I'm the one. So basically what I do is I get all the stories in and I have to read them. And then I have to pick 15 to 20 to move forward. So if I get 30 or 40 or 50 stories, I can only pick my top 15 that get picked. I give them back to Joe, and then Joe lists them on the Patreon, and then everybody votes on the Crystal Lake Patreon page for the best story, the winner of that story. Nick says, if you pick Mr. Frank's story, then does he get to pick the next winner? If they vote for Mr. Frank's story and he is the winner, then he gets I think 3 cents a word. He'll be in the next anthology they do at the end of the year, and then he gets $50 to do the voting, or to do the pick for the next month. So, good luck. Nick, are you writing a story? Are you going to write a story for this? Nick says, nope, in book writing mode at the moment. All right, sorry. I guess you don't like money. I guess you don't like thousands of dollars and heaping praise from me. I'll just make pretend that you did submit one, and I was like, that was awful. Trevor says, big respect to you for being able to write without plotting. I've tried it and I end up spinning my wheels for 20 minutes before I'm able to write anything. I find plotting saves my mental strength. And again, it's, everybody is different. Those yoga pants are very good on her. But I've tried to do, an outline. I've done books with outlines in the past. I just find I'm happier with the chaos of writing multiple stories, and they're all just trapped in my head. Nick said that's fair. It'd be cliche crap. Trevor says I usually write 3 or 4 scenes per chapter. Then he says, LOL. I write 2.5 pages generally as a chapter for me. And all my crime thriller stuff, as Frank knows, he points it out all the 50 chapters. 50 chapters gives me about 63,000 words a book, which is the sweet spot for crime thrillers. I know a lot of people who write 100,000, 125,000 on. You know, maybe those books sell. Who knows? I just know that 63,000 words is what the publishers are looking for, and what the readers, more importantly, are looking for. So I just kind of go with that. At one point, we were up to 15 people in. Now we're down to 4. It just jumps a lot. Just funny. This Frank says you need the bot guy. Remember that guy? Popped in. He's like, I know thousands of people in Germany, and then all of a sudden, like, he did a raid with like 400 something people, and I remember Tom came in late, and he's like, "Why is there 487 people in the Twitch chat?" Frank remembers him. Sorry, he says I remember him. And then I was like, "Well, this is cool. This will bring my numbers up." Blah blah blah. And then the next day, it said I had 6 people in because none of them were real. I think he was showing off, but he was like, "Look, this is what I can do for you." Instead of the, "Hey, do you need views?" You know, I'll tell you though, I am getting a ton of spam messages about the bot farms for YouTube for subscribers and also for hours. You know, it's like basically like, "Hey, if you need hours, it's like basically it's $1 an hour." You know, I'm like, "Yeah, no, but I don't need that. I need it to monetize, but then all of those hours are going to be shit hours, and then I'll never keep it, and I don't want to do that." Miss Frank says, "Yeah, next step was payment request." Yeah. I was very excited because at first I was like, hopefully this is real. Hopefully this is real. It was not real. I keep getting a lot of, here's the move they're doing. So my Kickstarter is still live. I've only gotten three things on it, $250 of the 1,000 that I'm looking for. Everybody check out my Kickstarter, please. And the funny part is, I keep getting these. It's all the same message from all different people, but it's all, "Hey, so we work we work with the PR portion of Kickstarter, and we see a lot of potential for yours. But we have a bunch of different things we would love to do for you, and the payment plan is not bad at all. Blah blah. And I'm like, oh, so you think I'm going to pay you because I think you actually work for Kickstarter when you don't. I do need this Kickstarter to work, though. I really do. I would really like this to be a real thing. Like Pinocchio says, I want to be a real boy. So I've hit the next page, Nick, just so you know. I have maybe 5 or 6 lines on this page, and then When Frank says, have you encountered any potential publishers who had a social media follower minimum to publish you? And then Mr. Frank says, could I have worded that any more confusingly? I'm glad you just said that because I was like, what? So that was a thing. We all know that was a thing for a little while. I've never had a publisher who has asked about my social media numbers and all that. And I know, like, going to BoucherCon, going to NINC, going to the different conferences for the thriller ones, they don't care. They want you to have a social media presence. They want you to be active. So they're more looking for active rather than like hey, do you have a newsletter? Good. Are you active on it? Do you post once a month at least? Yes. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Because they realize that your newsletter might have 300 people on it, but those are 300 people that are going to buy a book rather than 10,000 people you're throwing money at and 300 people are buying a book. Ms. Frank says, I've seen a couple of people mention that in the past year. I don't see it for the thriller stuff. It might still be a horror thing. I don't know. I know there was a period there where publishers were asking how many followers you had. Not what you do on social media, but how many followers you have. Which is really not a good way to run it, but you know what I'm saying. There she is again. She'll up for like hours. Ms. Frank says, good news for Chuck. Yeah. Chuck will put out his 2 Westerns every year, and I guess he's got to be happy with that. There should be, in the next couple of days, there should be a MondoCon email coming out. So look for that. Mm. Pop, 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 pop. Keep getting comments on my post, which is very good for the algo rhythm. It's like the rhythm of the night. Well, I was going to stop. I was going to stop at an hour. I'm at an hour and 45 minutes almost. I'll probably stop in a couple minutes. I want to get the. I got like maybe 6 more lines of this chapter and it's done finally. I always get effect and affect wrong. But luckily, then it says, "Hey, hey, blue line under this. Wrong word, idiot." Smacks me in the face. It's always effect. Yeah, pretty much. Except if you're talking about the affected area. It's I never got right. Next chapter, Nick Zin. Next chapter. Yeah, pretty much next chapter. I toss this back to Tom. He finally wrote after over a week. Tom's been a little sick. He's a little bit under the weather. I mean, Jess have both been sick. So on spam risk calling again. What writing program do you use? I write on Google Docs because I write a lot of stuff with other people, so we can both write on it. And that's it. I don't use Vellum or any of the other ones. I don't. I've always written in a Word doc. I stopped writing in just a Word doc when I lost a crap ton of stories several years ago because I've been too lazy to back them all up. So now I write on Google Docs because it stays in here, and then I download it to my laptop, and then I have an external drive on that, and then there's a cloud storage something or other that everything I move up to that as well. And then I have another external drive that I will plug into the laptop and then take everything from one external drive and copy it to the other one and then put that one back in a drawer. So I have several, like 5 backups for everything I'm writing now because I'm paranoid I'm going to lose something again. And I will. Miss Frank is a little bit over the weather instead of under the weather. So you and Tom are balancing out. All right, people. Great talking to everybody. I definitely will be back on Friday for a positive Friday of writing, couple hours. I will more than likely be back tomorrow, not for long because I have stuff to do in the afternoon, later in the afternoon, but I probably will be back because I definitely have to get some writing in. So appreciate everybody hanging out with me. Appreciate everybody watching videos. Please watch all these videos. Please. Please. He's yin, I'm yang. You definitely are yang. Definitely, 100%. So thank you. I appreciate everybody popping. I appreciate all the new people I keep getting in every day. This is a lot of fun to see people. I will see everybody tomorrow or definitely Friday.